Welcome to Better with Art. I'm Melinda, and I'm here to encourage you to reclaim your creativity and establish a healthy habit of creative self-care with weekly small art prompts that can be done in an art journal or on paper if you don't have one. If you are ready to invest in one, my top recommendation is in the description. This week I have the watercolor back out and we are going to play. We'll also use what we're doing today for next week's small art. As well as watercolors, I have an inexpensive Crayola Basic 8 set, clean water, a paintbrush you're comfortable with using watercolors with, and masking tape. Last year for the 52-week art journal journey, when I did a very similar project, I did not tape down my page. And taping down the page will not only give us nice clean edges, it will also keep our page from buckling in the middle while it's really wet. So we should have less puddling than I did last year. As you may have noticed, I pulled one page out separately and the rest of the journal is over here. So I'm taping this page directly to my desk. We need the masking tape not just for optionally taping down the page, but we will also be applying 3 smaller strips to our page. They don't have to have perfect edges, but if you prefer perfect edges, go for it. So as I said, you want 3 pieces, roughly the same length, but if they're not, the top one should be a bit longer, and that's not how mine worked out. I think I will shorten this one. So as I have mentioned, as you've seen me do before, a spray bottle is ideal for wetting our watercolors. I am going to be working with just the primary colors of red, yellow, and blue, which will create secondary colors and perhaps some mud. That's okay. I'll start by wetting 3 areas that don't touch. Just sort of ignore your tape. I'll start with my lightest color. This is a fun one to just watch the color move through the water. If your paint isn't flowing as much as you'd like, you can add some more water. Did you see that? That was fun. All right, add some red. I did start with my lightest color this time, my yellow. And if things aren't blending quite as much as you'd like, feel free to encourage them. I'll move on to my blue. I'd like my blue to touch my red and my yellow. And that is a way rounder blob of water than I realized at first. It's interesting how each puddle looks a little different. So just keep adding color to your paper. However feels fun. Can connect your water blobs. Oh, did you see the red flow through there? this project can be very relaxing. And I also know you may not be able to relax into it as much as you would like. To be honest, I am now actively trying to slow myself down because I need to get ready for work and leave soon. Well, I'm mostly ready, but I do need to leave soon. But I also try to make the Better with Art prompts something that can be done in just 10, 15, well, I don't know how many I actually get done in 10, but 10, 15 minutes, because I appreciate the fact that sometimes one of the problems with reclaiming, one of the barriers, one of the issues, one of the difficulties with reclaiming creativity and practicing creative self-care is time. So as well as trying to always use materials that are inexpensive and easy to obtain, the Better with Art projects are meant to also be able to be done in a short amount of time, but also with the freedom to take longer on them if you have the time. So yes, bringing our blobs together creates new interesting colors. And again, you may create a little mud, but that's okay. You can be mindful, like with this area here where blue and orange are coming together. Right now they're just muting each other. But if you want to be cautious of making too much mud with your colors, you want to just leave that alone until it's a little drier. And there's also nothing wrong with leaving white spots. In fact, when we move on to the second part of this project next week, having some white spots will actually be interesting. So as well as the blobs, you can see that I'm also just sort of pushing and pulling my paint in lines. Just enjoy playing with the paint and watching it flow in the water. Play with your colors. There are no rules, except to get some paint on your paper in a way that pleases you. And I do have a little bit of buckling. That is one thing I love about this particular set of art journals, though, is it's natural for paper to buckle when it's very wet. I probably could have done my page tighter too, but this paper will flatten out beautifully. There are more details about the paper weight in the description with the link. So if you're looking for something different from this, like if you don't like the spiral, or if you're looking for something on sale, if the one I link to isn't at the moment, it has to be heavyweight paper. And again, the details are in the description. I love the paper in this art journal, which is why I use it for all of my videos and for the art groups at the library where I work. I had, well, I've been very busy lately, and then I had to go out of state, and when I got back I was exhausted, So I got behind on my Wednesday video making, transitioning into a new series. Because following the exhaustion, I have been having technical difficulties. So I am hoping that all goes well and I get this scheduled for you for tomorrow morning. Yes, it is Saturday, and yes, I am going to work. I work 2 out of every 3 Saturdays. Not that you need to know this. I'm kind of rambling, which you should be familiar with. Anyway, 2 out of every 3 Saturdays were open 3 hours. Well, we're open every Saturday for 3 hours. I work 2 out of every 3 of them. And to bring this back to something more related to art, yesterday was an open art day at the library. I hold those the first Friday of every month, where the art supplies are out and people can come in anytime during the day and use them, or just use our space if they need to step away from their day-to-day environment to practice creative self-care. On the 3rd Friday of each month, I host the art journaling group, and recently was able to expand from just adults and an independent teen group to a kids group. And as well as having their art journals, we are working on an Eric Carle inspired collage mural. And some of the kids came in yesterday to work on it during open art. And I had a lot of fun. If you get puddles that are a little beyond your liking, you can use the corner of a paper towel to blot them. Of course, the way I blotted that, I'm not thrilled with the way it turned out, but that's okay, because as one of the kids pointed out to me yesterday, which I absolutely loved, there are no mistakes in art. And there definitely are no mistakes in process art. And the one thing I love about the Eric Carle project is the first step is to just create painted papers with all sorts of texture. I had the kids consider animals or objects they would like to add to the mural, and then think about colors and textures that would work. We looked at various books by Eric Carle, and we did start with some green and blue just to get things moving, because we would need grass and we have water. Art is something I not only love to do, I love to share, which, well, even if this is your first time finding my channel, that's pretty obvious. I also love finding new ways to do so. Checking my time. I need to wrap this up, friend. So, the only rule today, this week, is paint. Have fun, relax, enjoy the process. I love this stage of it where you can create rivers between and how the colors mix. Taking time for art is not a waste of time. It's vital to our mental health to make time to exercise our creativity in ways that are meaningful to us and we enjoy. And a project like this is good for us emotionally and mentally. We offer ourselves the opportunity to get lost in flow, which is energizing and can quiet down the spinning and give our brains a chance to think more clearly when we're not so focused on trying to find the answer. And I did say that we had to ignore the tape. But I have subconsciously been letting it be a barrier. There is one thing about doing these projects and explaining at the same time or rambling around in my mind out loud, that it isn't quite the same as just being able to... Sorry, got interrupted there. Yeah. It's not quite the same as just, I'm splashing water, which is cool. I'm not quite loving how it worked there. It's not quite the same as just doing the art, not thinking about communicating. I love communicating with you and encouraging you. But yes, if you can find some quiet time where you can just play in your paint and let your brain relax, you will be able to get into flow more easily than I can right now. And but even this, even with an interruption, maybe it's not as ideal as it could be, but it's still of great value. If you are feeling encouraged to make your own art today or soon, give me a thumbs up. Feel free to comment where you are on your art journey. I have received so many encouraging comments from people who are enjoying the prompts and, more importantly, practicing creative self-care, making art. I love it. And if you would like, that was not a place to have extra water. If you would like a safe, encouraging place to share your work, you will find a link in the description to receive a link to join our private Facebook group. And as I said, it's only encouraging. And we are small, but slowly growing, and I love it. So if you'd like to share your work, see what others are working on, or just offer each other creative encouragement to keep making art, you are invited to the Better with Art Facebook group. And I am getting a little muddy, and I am getting a little distracted trying to make sure I say everything, like be sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, so you don't miss prompts. Or, as I've mentioned, my other series, which goes a little deeper into my outside of the art journal art, and also helps YouTube see me as relevant to be able to reach more people to encourage them to practice creative self-care. Feel free to share with someone you know needs to reclaim their creativity. And I will be back next week with the second part of this fun project. And hopefully I will get things caught back up for Wednesdays and get back to a daily short. In the meantime, make art, friend. you.